controversial, so who does not have a mouthful? Looks like it's Counselor Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a shout out to Adam in Public Works and Matthew in the Rec Department. In the summer, I often wonder how we get everything done. Given that and the fact that we have 50-plus capital projects in the background for the planning department, it never ceases to amaze me what this village gets done and the people that are behind the scenes that get it done. That's my report.
Thank you. Counselor Facebook?
Council Facebook. Click. It's just, like Gary said, it never ceases to amaze. It's interesting sitting and listening to all the information from all the different departments about everything that's going on and to hear the history of Ruidoso. I mean, and talking with Susan about all the stuff and looking at what's coming up, it's just amazing that history, if we don't preserve it, it's going to be lost. And we need to preserve that so that people know what's going on. And then, gosh, the Windstream thing, like I said it before, I didn't think it was ever going to happen. To hear it's going to be done by the end of this year is just simply amazing, because he's gone now, but my service is with Windstream, and as soon as our house is ready and I move Beth out, I'm canceling the internet. It's not worth it. But I'm jealous. It's like, and even in Florida, the communities are struggling with internet, and being able to now, for us to be able to do that, and we're hearing more and more people are moving here that are working from home, telecommuting, everything, even with the business owners, and being able to process credit cards quickly and have reliable internet is just going to be amazing for what it's going to do for Ruidoso. So that's it.
Okay. I'm surprised you didn't answer this one.
Which one?
What happened on Ponderosa Heights? Saw a crime scene van, tons of police, sheriff, crime tape. Was that the suspicious package?
No.
Just a suspicious jet. We haven't come out with anything on it. People are.
Ruidoso said that it was a drunk police officer hit a.
Could not have been.
Some of the things, like Bill and I were talking earlier, some of the stuff, the rumors that come around this town are just amazing. Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's interesting to know what I'm doing. Okay, great, thanks.
Counselor Eby?
Biggest rumor I ever heard was that I was retired.
Oh,
Which isn't true, but anyway, I just enjoyed hearing everything that Councilor Coffin said, all the information that's come forth, and today, the different presentations that really came out, and we thank Judge Potter for his presentation, is that each one of these people who gave presentations today are actually talking about things that are going to make a major impact.
Oh, man, that's true.
We talk about all of the museum, we talk about the broadband, the event center, and the work there on Upper Sutter, going into the gateway of Upper Canyon. All those things are going to have a major impact on the also. And it's evolving. So I think it's all for the best, because those who lie dormant, they end up suffering. So we're not lying dormant.
that's good. Thanks, sir. Counselor Letterman?
Very proud of all the reports today. It's very positive for our village. I do have one thing. There's a lot, and it's not bear mess. It's community members' mess out on the dumpsters. Yeah, we're getting very lazy about just throwing things out by the dumpster. And I don't mean beds. I know you can't put those in a dumpster, but there's a lot of items that people throw out by the dumpster thinking and knowing that we're going to have our bear mess people pick them up. And I would just like to, I mean, just up where I live, it's ridiculous. Every dumpster is just not coming out of the dumpster, but the side of the dumpster. So I would just ask people, if you can put it in the dumpster, stick it in the dumpster. Don't put it by the side of the dumpster thinking that one of our wonderful employees is going to go by and pick it up. So just a reminder.
I agree.
It really trashes our village. It looks awful. So,
Anything else?
no, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, it's been an exciting month. That Party in the Pines, Ruidoso, I went a little bit Saturday afternoon there, and there was a lot of people, good music, a lot of people having good time, and that's something that's really impact our Midtown area, because talking to a few of the people, they just heard the music and came up, and that's what it's all about there at the Wingfield Park. The other thing, Deborah did mention it, the grand opening. I just checked my mail if you all haven't, but the grand opening for the ENMU Ruidoso Branch Community College, Monday, July 31st, 4 p.m. And that's a really nice facility. I'm glad that they're having that celebration, and a community meal at 5:30 p.m. Will be happening over there. Dedication ceremony 4 p.m. So be there early and stuff. Going back to the community part, I was been in part of, or helping, or not even helping, just in being notified of our Minister Alliance What's Up project coming up September 9th. That's a Saturday morning, and I was to just give that shout out on that. If you know of any senior or somebody that might need some minor repairs or yard work or stuff like that, give me a name and an address, a phone number. Because last year we had a crew help out at the Gavilan Park because of the flooding and stuff. I don't know, there was about 10 people or something that came and shoveled mud out of the dugouts and stuff. So that's something that's going on. The New Mexico State Transportation Commission will be meeting at the end of the Mountain Gods on July 20th. Their agenda isn't out yet at 8:30 a.m. However, they're going to be meeting here the 19th, I believe, if I remember right. And so we're welcoming them, and that's going to be on Facebook or live, whatever, TV, I believe. So I hope I hope our network is working really good. But to all departments, every single one of you departments, you do a lot of work, extra duty work, even when we're closed on the holiday. I appreciate all the work, because 4th of July, the weekend before, was just jam-packed in town. It seemed like the Wednesday before is when it really started getting pretty hectic, and I appreciated everybody's efforts on that. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And I agree. Just a couple of little side notes that people call and mention employees all the time about how courteous our folks are in the community. I mean, I can't tell you how many people that call in, that come in and pay their water bill, and that's a far cry from where it was one time, a long time ago. So you guys do a great job. And then there's a young man, he don't want me to mention his name or who he works for, but he works for a contractor that's doing a lot of work up at the end of the Mountain Gods. He found a wallet that had credit cards, driver's license, over $1,000 in cash, and my business card in it. And so he called me and said he found this and he didn't know what to do with it because he was going back to Albuquerque. It was over the 4th of July weekend. And so he got it to me and we were able to track that guy down. But you just don't hear that. The guy could have tossed it. He found it at Allsup's. And
That's pretty sharp.
so, yeah, that's pretty cool that, that there's still good people out there that do things like that. And we really need to highlight, but he didn't want his name out there. I don't know why. But anyway, we really appreciate it. It's to a resident, new resident to Ruidoso that has purchased a house here. And I'm sure we'll be seeing, his name is Frosty in here one day and maybe he'll tell the story. So, but anyway, it just was really good news. With all the bad news we hear about it, certainly great news. So, we don't have any public hearings. Okay, so we'll go on with regular items. Item number 1 is discussion and possible action on adoption of Resolution 2023-21, a resolution replacing Resolution 2022-49, defining the Ruidoso Cultural and Natural History Committee and changing the name of the Wingfield House Heritage Center to the Wingfield Heritage House Museum.
Coliseum was not,
Well, Coliseum was taken,
oh, okay.
Counselor Turd Brain. So, man, I'm gonna miss you. So I'm gonna miss you. So, do you guys want to come up and do a presentation, or do you want us just to vote on it? Because it's all going to be about the committee.
Elizabeth has the next agenda item. She has a little presentation. This one is just changing a few of the words at the Wingfield Heritage House Museum instead of center. It's also, we put, may also choose, and instead of that, we put shall for the vice president, or vice chairman, I'm sorry. Our regular meetings are the 4th Friday at 9 a.m. It's the Open Meetings Act. But that's about all it was. It's
Mayor?
just-
Oh, I'm sorry,
No,
were you
that-
done?
yeah, that's it.
Mayor, I move for the adoption of Resolution 2023-21, a resolution replacing Resolution 2022-49, defining the Ruidoso Cultural and Natural History Committee and changing the name of the Wingfield House Heritage Center to the Wingfield Heritage House Museum.
Okay, final discussion?
I like museum better. It really, it could possibly open it up to funding by having the word museum. And just Heritage Center, it's like, whatever, but now it's a museum. Let's go and see what's going on. I like that. You guys did a good job.
I just had a question on the wordsmithing. It seems like Wingfield House goes together, but I'm not sure Wingfield Heritage House, or is it defining the house, or, and then a museum at the end of it? I just thought it read better to say Wingfield House Heritage Museum. I mean, that's personal.
You know what? Personally, I went back and forth with this. I mean, if you say Wingfield, it's a heritage house for all of Lincoln County, and it's a museum. I said it several times, and I personally liked Wingfield Heritage House Museum.
And it's about the heritage of the Wingfield family, so I can see that going.
Both, not just the Wingfield family, but everything that we're talking about.
Correct, right.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I saw it at first, and it's like, but then, more thinking about it, it works.
Thank you for that clarification.
Roll call, please, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Counselor Salas,
Aye.
Counselor Eby,
Aye.
Counselor Letterman,
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin,
Aye.
and Counselor Jackson.
Aye.
Item number 2, discussion and possible action on adoption of Resolution 2023-23, a resolution accepting donated items of real property for the Wingfield Heritage House Museum.
And at this time, I would like for Elizabeth Potter to.
Okay.
And before she starts, I want to tell y'all that Elizabeth has done a lot of work. We've done 3 weeks of heavy work on this, and both of us down in the floor, and Elizabeth typing away, and I really appreciate her, the volunteer of putting it in the software. She's done a great job.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor and Counselors, for having me here. Yeah, we basically just need to, you guys have a list of all the items that we have put into the Past Perfect software. I wrote up just something I wanted to say to you guys right fast, because we have spent quite a bit of time recently putting this together, and what I'm going to tell you doesn't really express my feelings towards what I've experienced, but I'll try. This has been a very personal experience. This isn't even my family, but I feel like they are now. But I just wanted to, I'm here because we want you to approve those items. There's 213 entries into the Past Perfect database that are listed under the temporary custody classification. And the Cultural and Natural History Committee has approved these items to be brought to you for your approval, to move them to accession status and make them part of the Wingfield Museum collection. I've had the privilege of being able to view, study, read, and learn during the past month of entering these artifacts into Past Perfect. I have learned so much about the Wingfield, Robinson, and Morrison families and the impact they have had in bringing Ruidoso into existence. Each item tells a story and is invaluable to building a timeline to share with visitors to the Wingfield Museum. Some of the items donated are over 100 years old, and they look like they were printed yesterday. This small group of items is just the beginning of a very vast collection. We have just begun to put these in. These 3 families kept so much documentation of their everyday life, probably never imagining one day it would be of value to anyone. We will be the benefactors of their ability to not throw anything away. Because of this, we not only get a picture of what their life was like, but what Ruidoso and the surrounding area was like during the early years. I feel confident you will see the value in this collection and what it brings to the story of our village. I want to personally thank the mayor and the village council for your desire and dedication to preserve the home of the Wingfield family and use it and the artifacts we have to tell their story. Visitors to the Wingfield Museum can step back in time and learn about the beginning of our special village. We all know Charlie Wingfield came here in 1884, and he was the first person to homestead above the old mill. And it is my opinion that Ike Wingfield is the reason people were able to come to this area and live full-time in the Cool Pines. He opened a grocery store to carry all the necessary items for year-round living. He was involved in bringing telephone and electric to the area. He was a postmaster for Ruidoso. He was a village councilor, mayor, and ran for county commissioner. He was a school board member. He sold or leased land to individuals wanting to live in this area. He and his wife Lula were entrepreneurs, philanthropists, civic servants, and community leaders. Ike and Lula Wingfield were important people in and to this community, not because they were rich or powerful, but because they genuinely cared about visitors, neighbors, fellow citizens, and the future of Ruidoso. There's many items that I've been able to touch and feel and read and look at. When you look at all these items, there's just so much there, I'm not going to take the time to go through them, but some of these items were just precious, like finding a family tree, a whole Wingfield family tree, finding the original certificate, the homestead certificate that Charlie Wingfield filed back in the 1800s for this land, finding mining stock certificates for Bonito, for the Parsons Mine and the Alto Mine, finding a diary belonging to Della Wingfield, finding weekly timekeepers that were used for multiple purposes, that Lula kept items in there of things that were important to her, what her clothes she wore, what the weather was like, who was visiting, marriages, deaths, births, all these things with dates. It's amazing. It's amazing the things they kept. Ike's personal checkbook. And you can see, I didn't even know Sears and Roebuck was around back in the early 1900s, but he was ordering from them. His invoices for his store to see what was he bringing in, what was he selling to these people that were coming here. Seeing plats for land that he was selling, seeing a ledger book with people's names in there. One from Brownwood, Texas, where I'm from, back in the early 1900s. It is such a treasure trove of items. So in closing, because I could go on for hours about all these items, I'm sorry. I'm going to close with this excerpt from the newspaper article written in May of 1951 about the 40th wedding anniversary of Ike and Lula Wingfield. It says, when the final story of this great area is written, Lula and Ike Wingfield will have their part. And because of you guys, that is true. Because, as Councilor Coughlin said, if you don't tell the story, it's going to get lost. So thank you very much. I hope that you will approve these items. I'm working on more items for the next meeting. And I know that once we open this up, once we get our curator, once we open up this to the public and we ask for help, we ask for what are the things that you have? Because I want you to realize too that although this is a lot of stuff about the Wingfields, the Robinsons, the Morrisons, there's so much great information in there about Ruidoso. So much, things I never even knew. There's pictures in there of the dam being built at Bonito.
Yeah.
How cool is that? There's articles about the town that was there. Everyone knows the rumors about the town that's buried in the lake. So there's pictures of that. So just great, great things that tell the story about how we got to this beautiful place that we live in now. So I just am asking for you to approve. I know you gave me all the words 3 hours ago. I forgot them. So tell me again what I'm supposed to say for them to approve this. I don't know.
Just approve.
Just
Approve
hope,
it.
yeah.
Okay. But thank you so much.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you. No, it's a lot of hard work.
I only have one question. Item number 159 is highlighted in yellow. Is
Oh.
there a significance to that?
No, that was my little system of saying, Susan, we got to verify this.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah, no, that's all that was.
okay.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, thank you so much.
What's that?
Was it verified?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's been really fun because Elizabeth would have this plat, and it had 3 sides, but one of them was missing. And I was digging somewhere else and was like, oh, I wonder what, and she was like, oh my gosh, and we pieced things together. It has been a lot of fun. So I really appreciate her and Frank taking the time to volunteering to do this. This is going to help the curator. And, I've lived it all my life, but along with Elizabeth and Frank, looking at all this stuff, I have a better and greater understanding of what 100 years was like in Ruidoso.
Okay. Can we get a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve adoption of Resolution 2023-23, a resolution accepting donated items of real property for the Wingfield Heritage House Museum.
Second.
Any final discussion? Okay, roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Judge.
Elizabeth.
Thank you,
Thank you.
You
Elizabeth.
guys are gonna have to figure out a building, because they're gonna have a bunch before it's over with.
Yeah.
Well, what's going to happen, have to happen is, because, the Wingfields have just a little place, so we'll have it in tubs, and every so often, we'll put something else out
And
and
rotate it, huh?
just rotate stuff. Yeah.
'Cause, we've been contacting, people are talking about furniture, and it's like we just,
yeah.
I mean, it's cool stuff. They sent me some pictures, but where are you gonna put it?
I have a carriage, it's like,
Yeah, and that's one thing they were asking about is that kind of stuff
Yeah.
that they had saved, but we don't have it. Okay, item number 3, approval of reassignment of lease, excuse me. That's what happens when you don't have your glasses on.
The clerk's office messed up again.
That darn clerk's office. Okay, this is discussion and possible action on adoption of Resolution 2023-2022, a resolution of financial support and funding commitment to the Ruidoso Main Street Association for fiscal year 2023-2024. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. It's nice to be here with you guys today. Thank you guys for having me. I have a presentation prepared for you guys that kind of just recaps the last year, and then I hope that it convinces you guys that we're worth funding again for another year. And so we'll get started here. Mainly, I wanted to jump into the first slide was going to kind of be a theme for the rest of the presentation. So we did a thing, as that's a common term now, but we actually rebranded in the last year. So in participating with the New Mexico Main Street training, I learned a lot about brand recognition, and Ruidoso's brand is actually used in training for a powerful brand symbol and where it works. Throughout the state of New Mexico, Ruidoso's brand is pretty powerful and strong. And so we've been fortunate to be using the Ruidoso brand with the Midtown Association as a department underneath the Ruidoso for a couple of years now, and that really gave us validity and recognition. Just from the grass up, you throw a little seed down there and it's, just barely growing and everybody walks right over it. So with that support of the Ruidoso community and y'all's backing, that brand has got us to where we were today. But as we grow and evolve, we find that there's continual challenges. And one of the challenges we were facing was gaining recognition for being a nonprofit organization, and that we generate volunteer hours, and that we want to, receive grants and funding, and maybe even an occasional donation when someone's in the position to do so. And so we learned that being so closely identified with the village was affecting our nonprofit status. We kind of look like a branch or a department of the village. It was like, Parks and Recreation and the Midtown Department, and so, but that's not how it works. And so I learned through all of the New Mexico Main Street training of the need for our own identity. And so the New Mexico Main Street Special Services actually helped us rebrand as a organization, which is amazing. It looks really great. This is the brand that our organization chose, and you can see when you look at these three together, I put them on the slide here for you, that they're related. They're from the same community. They like each other. They're friends, but they're not the same. They all have their each individual standout. And so here we are now with the new brand for the Ruidoso Midtown Association. We did get our branded equipment out in time for Ruidoso, but we haven't made a big brand break, so this was kind of my chance to unveil it to you guys, because it wasn't really made into a public situation, but we're proud of it and we hope that it carries on forward. So I'm going to give you guys another look at it. This is what the New Mexico Main Street Specialist team did for us. They gave us all of this. You can see where it says, a community revitalization nonprofit as a tagline, where when that's necessary to use, it again helps us with that validity. And then you can see where it just works. It just kind of looks good. It's outdoorsy and it matches our community. And then we also got everything that you need to be a legitimate business. I really admire the way that Carrie brands the Village Ruidoso, because everything is consistent. And so they gave us that branding package. We have fonts now, we have colors, we have backgrounds and schemes, and that we can use that and apply that to all of our efforts moving forward, and then we can kind of gain that recognition for our own individuality. So that's the rebrand that I'm going to move forward with from you guys. I wanted to jump right into the Bruidoso Festival because that just happened the other day and it was successful. I was happy to hear that there was counselors in attendance there. And I love seeing you guys out. I always see you guys everywhere. And so we had about 1,500 attendees, which was down from last year. But I don't quite know how we kind of adjust those things. We had a major headliner last year. And while we did have very talented, famous musicians this year, they didn't have that same punch headliner effect. But yet with so much going on, as you guys saw with the agency's presentation during that weekend, I think we're just in the mix right there. You know, it's just gonna vary from year to year. You know, maybe we'll get the 2,000 attendees next year and the tattoo convention will get the 1,500. I don't know, you know, but we're all playing with that same crowd of people that are coming. I was really pleased to hear that we did attract some of the younger hustling and bustling working crowd because we tried to target that to be an affordable event. Both the tattoo convention and the Bruidoso site, we've worked hard on just trying to make it affordable. We even kind of tailored a pricing system to where people can kind of pick and choose what they want to pay at the gate. You know, you can buy a ticket with a glass, or you can buy a non-drinking ticket, or you can buy a chair, or, you know, there's all these extras that you can really walk up and as a family say, well, we just want to, you know, pay $20 a piece to get in, or, you know, we're here for the full experience, give us the $50 passes. And so we had 52 vendors, 10 of those vendors were alcohol vendors and 7 food trucks, and they all reportedly did really well. And so in all, with just the Bruidoso Festival, we generated, the Ruidoso Midtown Association Board generated about 172 volunteer hours just for that event. That was meeting every month for a year. We met every month for a year talking about it, and some board members were able to do more extensive work, and some were just there for the decision making. But that's also comforting because when it comes down to the event happening, we don't have somebody left out that says, well, I didn't even know we were having an event, because they were involved in the decision making. And so I want to say a special thank you for the event to the Village Ruidoso Parks and Recreation Department, and of course our funding department, the lodger's tax, really works well in our community. But back to the Village of Ruidoso Parks and Recreation Department, those guys are a powerhouse. We just could not have this amazing community with all of the fun we have without them. And I especially want to thank Sydney. There's a lot that gets tossed around sometimes, and you don't know who made this decision or who signed this or where this paper was or who made this call and what day this is supposed to be done and who's returned the email. And Sydney did a really good job of catching those hot potatoes when they were thrown at her. And so, you know, we're right there, and we had some really good planning talks, and on the day of the event, I think both of us really enjoyed ourselves. I noticed compared to last year, neither one of us were nearly as stressed out. We weren't running around, you know, it was a lot more under control, and you know, we were kind of smiling at each other when we saw each other walk by. So that was a good feeling and a great success this year. So we'll move on from Bruidoso to just kind of a recap of the accomplishments. I just kind of wanted to run through the year real quick, and this is not hitting every single
Back
thing.
up just a minute. Tie in how Bruidoso worked with, was it Party in the Pines? That was out at Wingfield. And that was in conjunction, I mean, same time period as we were having the tattoo convention. So break up the difference between Bruidoso and Party in the Pines.
So Bruidoso is the festival side of Party in the Pines, because the Party in the Pines could come in and just be having a party in the park that day. They could just be having a concert in the park that day and charging admission for the concert. But we were the festival side of, this was something that our organization had already done, but we're very, you know, we're starting it off really small. And the first year that we threw a Bruidoso was only with a couple of $1,000s. And, you know, we just had just our local bands playing under the pavilion the first year, and it grew and made money, and it showed that sign of growth happening. And whenever, you know, the village comes in with these kind of bigger, better plans, it's kind of hard when you're the little dog to like run and keep up with these things. And so fortunately, we have such a great working relationship that our village partners worked with us. They're like, you know, we see that you guys are scheduled to throw an event this weekend, but we were also thinking about, you know, tying in a concert series throughout the summer. And so that was where, on the initial planning side of Party in the Pines, that we decided to kind of label it as instead of calling it Father's Day weekend, you know, because that was what it kind of was getting called, was Father's Day weekend.
After all, Father's Day isn't that important, we know that. It's like the 24th out of all the events. But what I'm getting at is, because it was confusing to people who was doing what, who's paying for what. So who paid for the musicians?
So that was.
I was telling them that I thought it was Bruidoso, but they told me it was.
So,
it was-
Mayor and Council, the whole event, the Party in the Pines is over the encompassing, like, weekend, as she said. The talent is paid through lodger's tax with, Village Ruidoso pays that with the lodger's tax for the talent for this event. So Party in the Pines is kind of the concert section of it. Ruidoso RMA runs. We also have a large tournament that comes to town that weekend, a baseball tournament, I believe it is.
Right.
And then also the tattoo festival. So basically, we're branding it as there's so much going on in town that particular weekend, is it's Party in the Pines weekend to attract more people.
Okay, so how did the revenue get split up on ticket sales?
So the ticket sales for Ruidoso is.
It was split,
Yeah.
this year 50/50. So
50/50.
the contract was designed to where we made the $20,000 investment, and then the Village of Ruidoso made the next 20,000, and then everything over the top of that was split 50/50.
Okay, perfect. Okay, good. Go ahead, please. Sorry.
Oh, no, not at all. Thank you very much. I don't want to skip anything, so please.
No, it's just that people ask me, and sometimes I get confused on who's doing what, because the Party in the Pines was one year, and then they're combined, which we're all about trying to get the most out of everything and have more going on the weekends, so.
Yeah.
I didn't give it to them the right answer, so I'll get back with them.
And we did notice, and I'll work with the agency moving into next year. Last year, we really made it seem like Ruidoso and Party in the Pines was two separate things. And this year, because you're arriving to the one event at the park with two names essentially. So this year, we tried to do a better job of making Party in the Pines come to all of these things. And Ruidoso was just one of the listed things under Party in the Pines, and the Party in the Pines concert landed at Ruidoso.
Okay.
But that we will, I appreciate you asking me to clarify that, because we do want to do a better job. On the RMA side, we kind of lost a little bit of, well, where was Ruidoso this year? I got that from our side. We had people ask us, did you guys not do Ruidoso this year?
Well, see,
Because
wasn't
they
it
thought
one
it was
time
Party
like
in
the
the
wine festival or something?
Right, it's Ruidoso Beer and Wine Festival.
Well, I know, but wasn't Party in the Pines the one time wasn't that a wine festival?
No, it was Ruidoso Beer and Wine Festival.
No, way before Bruidoso.
Oh, Vine,
See, I think maybe that's where the people were getting confused.
okay,
That they were confusing with Vines in the Pines.
I see.
Is that
Yeah,
in February?
yeah, but that's a chamber event. See?
Oh, yes.
So that's where all this was getting mixed up a little bit, so.
Yes, we're very pioneer
And I was
around
mixed
here.
up too, so.
Okay,
Okay,
well-
that clarifies it.
Okay, we'll try and do a better job of maybe getting that clarification.
Well, as long as you get people there,
obvious.
that's what counts.
That's true. We appreciated that aspect too. Moving on to the recap of accomplishments, was that we did host the New Mexico Main Street Conference last year in September, which was incredible for me personally, because it happened so fast. I had only been in my seat for a year, and then all of a sudden the whole entire state program was down here recognizing our community. So that was really an accomplishment for the Midtown Association. We continue to put growth into the Halloween event in Midtown, the pumpkin roll, the coffin race. We raised $2,500 last year, and so that's an increase from the year before. I think we raised like $1,800 the year before, so $2,500 is better. That's coming from just selling those pumpkins. We had too many the first year, and then we ran out last year, and so we'll get it right one of these times. And then
And I'm sorry, but the 2,500 was raised for RMA?
yes, for the Ruidoso
Right,
Midtown
okay.
Association, just for our operating expenses. And then the coffin race kind of has turned into a feel-good event. We sure like it when somebody pays for one of those, but we're just looking for entertainment that day. So we've kind of gathered up and we've offered those teams out to the different school entities, like the cheerleaders and the football players, and we had some great participation last year. It was fun. So, and then the Ugly Sweater Business Mixer was hosted at Quarters Bar and Grill this year. We had about 75 people there, and we raised $1,600, which was the most that we had raised up to this point. So that was a good success for us as well. To get 100 people out on a weeknight at any business in Midtown I think, would be a win, especially when they're locals. I think that's always an extra. And then we purchased the new digital kiosks in January. We purchased those with the assistance of the Village of Ruidoso and the Junior Bill grant funds. And that, as we know, that ugly kiosk in front of the bathrooms has just been desperately waiting to be replaced. And I continually bother our sales representative, who assures me that as soon as it is produced and ready, we had to practically wait for it to be like, they had to make the liquid for the screen. I don't know. It was a lot, but we've been waiting since January. I just got an update the other day that said that I was still on track to, the production was still on track to be completed by August, but that doesn't mean it's gonna be shipped to me by August. So I hope that it's completed in August and it comes to us soon, because we sure have been waiting for that for a long time. We also purchased the digital billboard, to put on the Country Club lot in Midtown, and that's kind of, in a way, acting as, it could be considered like a gateway, because we really want to promote and advertise, like, welcome to Midtown, you're here. And then we also want to use that to generate funds and hopefully advertise select businesses and create our own policies with that, work in coordination with the Village of Ruidoso, so we'll always be spreading those Village of Ruidoso messaging as well. And we did receive $2,000 in grant money from Zia Natural Gas towards the completion of this project. We don't have the billboard yet. It is produced, the billboard is ready to ship to us, but we don't have contractors committed to breaking ground on that project yet. So it's tricky that we don't want that billboard arriving here and sitting in a lot before we've even broken ground on that. So we're still navigating, trying to get a contractor to commit to a timeline and hopefully break ground on that project. But the billboard is purchased and it is ready. It's ready to come to us. And so that will be exciting whenever it gets here. And we're hoping to get that completed by the end of this year as well. And
Kendra, is it a two-sided
it is
billboard?
two-sided.
Okay.
And we do want it to be decorative. It's gonna be kind of ugly when it goes up because they have to go up on these metal posts. And then it
Right,
has to be
right.
high up enough that people can walk underneath it and it's not gonna get defaced. It is a
Right.
screen. And then, it is gonna be, but we have worked with Groundwork Studios to provide us a little bit more of a nicer design down the line so that we can maybe rock face those poles or add something decorative to that to make it not so just like a
Right.
billboard on the side of the highway. You know, it kind of is gonna probably look like that the day it goes up, but we do have the intention of processing that further to make it more attractive and appealing.
So you don't have that money budgeted yet?
No, we don't have it budgeted yet, that's correct. The installation money? Oh, we had $13,000 budgeted, but we're not sure about
The facade?
the facade will be
Goes
further
with it.
than will be further than
So where will the control for that be out of?
So that would lie with Carrie and I. Carrie and I will have the login and access to that. So me acting as the primary Ruidoso Midtown Association agent, and then Carrie acting as the village agent. So she'll have access to that as well.
How far away from the sign do you have to be able to communicate to it?
I don't know.
You can do it.
Like anywheres, I think they make it seem really easy when they're sales pitching it to
Can you
you.
do it from your shop?
That you can do it from the phone now, and you can do it from anywhere, remotely.
Okay, I didn't know.
Like we do the ones at the swim pool, I can't think of the name of that, we spend all that extra money on getting that clean electricity, and it's already messed up again. Have you seen the
Yeah,
sign?
no,
That's Spencer's.
right.
But so the deal is that we can, if there's an emergency or something, it can
Yes.
be switched on to show the emergency or whatever, that it won't just be ads on village property.
Right.
You know, they'll be generating some money off of it.
Yeah.
And then the utilities will be paid by the village. And the, what else was there?
I believe
Because we need to make sure we understand you're not a standalone business like the chamber.
Right.
Because other people have wanted to advertise, put signs on village property. So there's these conversations that go on in the background as to why we allowed the sign there. But it's tied into promoting the village, letting people know what's going on, like don't feed the animals or something. will be on
Of
there.
course, spreading positive messaging. And it's been discussed with our board that part of that positive messaging is that we'd just like some positive images out there, like the beautiful pictures that we see of Ruidoso. Sometimes those should just be maybe flashing every once in a while. And, you know, so some of that kind of stuff just for positive, we've talked about maybe hopefully putting some old pictures on that as well as for just an occasional, something for you to want to look at, you know, to maybe catch your attention besides just catching
Because
advertising.
there's only so many banners you can put over, Sudworth, a year.
Yeah.
And then this is a way that other people could, market other events that are coming to town, like she was saying, it was already taken.
Yes.
So that's a good point.
Well, it's
Yes.
another great informational source for people coming to town. When we go to level 2 fire restrictions, boom, it's there, you know,
Yes.
and then advertise for whatever is going on, but then being able to multifaceted the message is going across there.
But also directly to the concentration of the district, because,
Right.
while they passed that sign down by the pool, they were going 35 there, and, maybe they looked over it, maybe they didn't, but they're paying a little closer attention when they come into the district. They may pass through it several times, and
Plus they're walking.
they walk, exactly.
So-
So,
Yeah, it's a great
And that
idea.
is the gateway to Midtown.
Yeah.
So that, yeah.
and then, so the next point on here was that we provided liaison for the New Mexico Main Street Professional Design Services to assist with the Junior Bill Facade Squad Improvement grants that were awarded to stakeholders. That totaled out being $287,500 invested into the Ruidoso Main Street District in the last year. So that, it's quite obvious. We've gotten some great compliments on all of the new paint jobs. There's even people are writing on Facebook and stuff like, gosh, Midtown looks great, and so I've been surprised at the positive feedback that people noticed all of that work that happened.
Yeah,
And
that's
so, and
nice.
some of the buildings that got improvements really needed them, really needed them, that may not have otherwise happened. So that was a very successful project. I actually have, I don't want to jump forward too far, but I had provided, the New Mexico Main Street provided us approximately about $25,000 worth of assistance this last year, but the professional services from Groundwork Studio for the Junior Bill grant and for the rebranding were not included in that 25 yet. Those have not been completely cashed out yet, and so that'll actually jump that number up for the last year. That New Mexico Main Street assistance provided more than what I'm reporting to you now, and so.
Okay, explain to me again, because I know we worked on the grant, that was something that came open like that the village jumped on, and so you're saying that RMA is providing financial assistance on design?
We provided professional design assistance from Groundwork Studio, acting as the Groundwork Studio was operating through us, and New Mexico Main Street paid that bill.
I mean,
So-
like for the facades?
For the facade squad. So anyone in the district could have asked for assistance during that time frame. We actually even provided assistance for people that didn't get the grants, that just wanted, input on maybe what color they should paint, or, some changes in their signage or parking lot and stuff like that. And some of that work hasn't been completed yet. We're still getting feedback from, we actually had William Powell, who's a world-renowned architect, come down from Santa Fe, and he came down and worked with Dean on his project, and so, but New Mexico Main Street paid the bill for all
Oh,
of
see,
that.
I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
That's why the opportunities available.
So it is because we are a nationally accredited program that Main Street funds those projects. Specifically, New Mexico Main Street funds those projects because of our national accreditation status. If we were not nationally accredited, we would not be applicable for those funds.
So how many of the businesses took advantage of that? I mean, most of them
Top 5 that were funded did.
did?
Casey's,
So I was-
Evans, Quarters.
I was gonna say, I actually had about 5 others that were not funded, so maybe about
Lottery.
10. About 10 people.
Oh, that's awesome.
They received professional renderings and they did sites.
Was that after or before they turned in their application? Oh, okay.
Throughout the whole process. That's why I
Okay.
said some of that hasn't even been completed yet. We're still getting paperwork back on that.
That's
And
for the ones that, because the other ones had to be
That-
complete.
Right.
so- Yes, those were ones that were not complete. Yeah, because those went as a priority.
The other ones
Casey's
weren't
Cabins
funded. Yep.
received groundwork studio assistance, and theirs was placed as a priority because they were funded. But then other projects down were not, and so.
Yeah, see, that's the first I was aware of that.
And so, and then leading into that accreditation status is that the director is required to attend these New Mexico Main Street trainings in Santa Fe yearly, and then bi-yearly it is required to attend, or every 2 years, I didn't mean to say bi-year, sorry, attend the National Main Street Conference wherever it's hosted, and so that's a requirement. So I did just attend the national conference this last year. I didn't attend it within my first year, and then when I attended it the second year, I really understood why it's required. You learn such a plethora of information there that it is like college boot camp condensed in 6 hours. When I went this last year, I went by myself, and my board we just couldn't work it out to where we tried to get someone to go with us. But it actually turns out that Matt would have gone, and I didn't know that until the week I was leaving. And I would have loved for him to accompany there because there's so much information happening there. So maybe hopefully this next year or the following year, coming into the year, maybe it's something that if one of our board members are not able to go, or in addition to our board members, maybe there's the option for a village representative to be there as well to attend that, because it was really a great experience. It was very cool, very interesting.
Did you get to see Plymouth Rock while you were there?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh,
I
you didn't miss much.
No.
I did. I went over
It's
to.
like this
yeah,
big.
It was it.
Yeah.
I tried to enjoy so much of Boston, but I went over to Salem because it was small and close, but it was very cool. It was, the Main Street work was incredible. I was going to request, and I did in fact request New Mexico Main Street assistance for redoing our economic transformation strategy. And when I went to the conference class there in Boston, and then I was at a group, and we were put into a group effort, and I ended up leading my group and then doing the presentation for our group. So I was like, I left out of there, I was like, wow, I think I knew what to do just then. And so it was kind of like, I came back kind of like, okay, I think I learned something, you guys, you know? So, and then Eduardo did assist us through it. Actually, Eduardo's on live. He's been in the room with us all day. And so, but he did assist us with our economic transformation strategy reset just recently. And I'll touch on that. And when I get to, I only had a few slides, but I'm almost done with them. I want one last thing on this one was that the Ruidoso Midtown Association also assisted with the film production of Christmas Classic, and that was really a unique opportunity. We had the whole block looking like Christmas for just a couple hours.
Yes.
Again, Parks and Recreation Powerhouse came in, assisted with that, agreed to help, put the manpower forth, and then so did all of the neighbors. Everybody acted very, very neighborly during that time. I was actually in Boston, and I couldn't believe it, but they, like little ants, all communicated to each other, and one forgot to leave his lights off, and the other one like jumped the fence and plugged the lights in because he forgot to leave the lights off, and the other said, oh God, plug them in, and and it was, they really came through. They really, we had told them, we had asked them, would you guys please put out decorations? And, I told everybody, just light decorations. And then when I saw the picture, Candle Power completely redecorated their window for Christmas, completely. And so did the little children's boutique on the corner. Mm-hmm. So both of those windows looked like it was Christmas, and it was the middle of March. It was cool. It was a cool effort.
You know what would be cool, and you probably already thought about this, but when that film comes out, is try to arrange a screening here in Ruidoso for it.
Okay, yeah.
Either at the Allen Theaters or the Convention Center or something.
That production did do a screening for their last movie that they did at the end. So I will request that. Maybe we should try and get it in the park in Midtown.
Yeah, because we're here for what, a couple of weeks or something
were.
filming?
They were.
It was all over the place, and so many locals were involved in it.
It was really neat.
That would be really cool.
That wasn't The Best Man, was it?
No,
That was a different one.
The Best Man is the one that they premiered, but it was that same production crew that did The Best Man that did A Christmas
Yeah, that's what I was
Classic.
talking about. They premiered
Yeah.
Best Man up there. Have y'all seen
Yeah.
that?
No, I haven't seen it, but
It's,
I know people that were in it, and they were excited to
He
be in it.
almost
but
spoiled it.
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to the
I
next slide.
rented it on
Okay.
like Netflix or whatever, Amazon or somewhere.
Misleading.
Oh, yeah.
So the next one recaps here that the RMA board generated approximately 216 volunteer hours. That's meeting at organizational committee meetings and meeting monthly for board meetings, plus the 172 hours for Ruidoso, brought us up to about 388 volunteer hours. And according to the independent sector organization, in 2023, a volunteer hour value is around $31.80.
How did they get that?
That brings us up to about a $12,000 value.
That's the average wage now.
I guess, I don't know. But I'm real proud of the board for generating.
Well, you got an active board. That's really awesome.
Yeah, that is.
I remember in the beginning, it wasn't.
Yes,
I remember
yeah.
when Matt was here, Lord. So it says a lot to the way you've been able to bring people together.
It is, because these people are taking their volunteer hours, they don't even think like they did enough, they're saying, oh, I just had a conversation, I just talked about the design thing for, with my friend, and that was an hour of their time that they just worked for RMA, and so it really is important, and so I appreciate that they did that. That was an impressive number. And so, the Ruidoso Midtown Association Facebook page has grown to 8,000 active followers, which is up from 6,000. And so I know Carrie does such a good job of giving you guys how important that social media presence is. And so we had about 7,000 specific page visits looking for current information. Those are people that are hitting that page because they came to Ruidoso and they're like, oh, what's in Ruidoso? Midtown, let's see. And when you do that, you're looking for current information. You're not looking for a post from 2 weeks ago. You're looking from a post from yesterday, that today, you know, maybe within the last week. And so we had about a good show on that. We had about 200,000 page views in total since, a little over that, since last July. And then 165 of our posts were directly related to the Midtown District. And again, that's what we're here for. So we're trying to post about all the different businesses down there, all of the events happening, the weather, the streetscape, you name it. We're just trying to keep it Midtown. And 59 of those posts were shares related to Village of Ruidoso activities. That's not always necessarily Midtown. That's, you know, something happening at Grindstone, something going on, you know, park or on the other side of town, or a kids community thing going on, those kind of posts. So we had about 30,000 post reach just in the last 90 days. And in the last year, we did 112 live videos. 71 of them were a minute or longer, and they did reach organic post status. So they got sites on their own. So 70 out of 100 kind of gaining its own traction. We weren't putting any money behind that. That's just natural flow of social media action there. And we have a very active page. We get, you know, according to Facebook's reports, it says that our page is very healthy. So, the last thing that I have on here as an accomplishment, which I can brag about the brand that we use, is that we began implicating harder this year the trusted door-to-door communication campaigns. We've tried mailing them stuff. We communicate on the Insider. We put stuff out on Facebook. We send emails. And so, but it just always comes back to, you always get that half or more people that say, well, I didn't hear anything. And we just, you know, we just hit every aspect there. And if you just don't go knock on the door sometimes and hand somebody a letter, you know, hand someone physically something that they, and it doesn't, that nobody wants to read 700 words, you know, just a quick to the point and something that's trusted. So when we got our brand, we got to send out that letterhead. And so we sent out a couple of formal informationals, like the last recent two were telling the district that there'll be Cinco de Mayo entertainment throughout the district. So that's the, you know, when there's a mariachi band playing in front of their store, they knew it was coming. They're not surprised to see them out there. And so, what happened, we noticed, is that other people go around and communicate with the district. You know, you get independent people that want to push their messaging, and it may be religious, or it may be personal, or it may be inappropriate. And they'll go put door to door. And I think it used to be kind of assumed that if you got something in Midtown, it was the Midtown people that did it. And that's not always the case. But since we did the branding and we sent out our letterheads a couple of times, that was all it took. I actually heard some people organically say, no, they said, well, the Midtown people, they were in favor of that situation, which wasn't really pleasant happening around town. But that's because someone independently had gone around and spread letters around Midtown. And owner of the business standing right next door said, no, they're not. The Midtown people send out those little orange letters. It wasn't theirs. And I was just like, oh man, I didn't even have to defend the situation. Someone else defended it just on their own common sense, that they were able to take away the difference between getting a letterhead and just receiving something that was typed up or handwritten. So I was really pleased with that, because I feel like that's been something that I stated since I first came on board, was somehow we've got to increase and improve the communication downtown so that we can get more support in that. And just recently, there was an issue that came up with some people just unhappy about the way things were coming out. And Matt had told me that, he said, you know, they didn't even know there was a Midtown. And so Matt kind of branched them over to us. And once we talked about it, you could tell they were kind of like, oh, okay, to learn that we were there in their favor, that there was somebody that wanted to hear their concerns. And so I'll move forward if you guys don't have any other questions about anything on this page. Okay, this is our New Mexico Main Street accreditation status. So that's our nationally accredited Main Street certificate. I wanted you guys to look at it with your eyeballs.
Nice.
I got it in my email, and I don't know, and nobody goes in and looks at anything printed on walls anymore. So I got to share that with you guys. The next one I wanted to share with you guys was, this was just sent to me by Lucas, our economic vitality specialist for the New Mexico Main Street. And this is where he shows me that New Mexico Main Street services utilized so far in 2022 for the 2023 fiscal year was $25,000. So that was money paid by New Mexico Main Street for services that we utilize that our community received the benefit from. So, and then, like I said, that does not include the grant. And as we know, I've looked at a couple of groundwork studio bills, and they're usually like $10,000 or $15,000. So I bet that that's safe to say that that's probably what we'll be looking at adding to that number. And then for the rebranding, I imagine it's probably 5 or 6 as well. So, and then we did work on our economic transformation strategies. And New Mexico Main Street has shifted their they have shifted their requirements for their economic transformations to be, their economic transformation strategies to require a product-based strategy or a customer-based strategy. So we kind of realigned this year to meet those standards. And this is kind of what this looks like. It looks like a lot of words, but this was slight pieces, individual points that were taken out of our contract so that you can kind of see how that works. So an economic transformation strategy is putting an outcome or a strategy in place to achieve an outcome. And so this reestablishment of the Midtown District being the center for the local residents and families to eat, shop, and engage. We decided this year that notoriously for years, we all are really highly concerned about the tourism. That is our industry. If we were talking about customers or an industry or a customer base, the industry we're probably focusing on is tourism. But our customers that we want to tap into and touch around here are locals. So how do we talk to both of those worlds and intermingle them possibly to where we're giving them equal attention? So that's where that transformation strategy is looking into the next year is how do we engage the locals? How can we maybe bring them back into? And that's going to work with the with the National Main Street program with the 4 points: design, economic vitality, promotion, and organization. So what that looks like is in the economic vitality department is that we're going to initiate efforts with the residents and current prospective business owners to explore diversifying, dining and food options, maybe better serving residents after 2:30 in the afternoon on peak seasons. What are ways that we could engage with what people need in downtown? Maybe we need more barber shops in Midtown, and that we would get more foot traffic if we had more barber shops. And so those are ways, but that requires us kind of physically diving into talking to people and questioning that. But we haven't made those steps at this point towards that yet. But that's where we're going to start here. And in design, it's going to work with the New Mexico Main Street team to advocate for options for maybe pedestrian safety features in Midtown, like crosswalks. Maybe that'll make our locals feel safer for coming down here. You see where you move down to the second transformation strategy, and crosswalks is also in that. So you see where we're blending the two worlds, and that maybe we'll, provide a healthier, safer environment for both sides of that coin. And then in promotion, it's going to look like maybe designing and launching a campaign to promote local businesses, offerings for residents. Maybe, maybe a punch card system. Maybe, a lot of communities do like a First Friday and stuff, but Ruidoso is so busy. We are such a busy community. Everyone is working multiple jobs. Everyone is working extended hours. We're all, there's not enough employees. And so asking people to do more is a little bit tricky, but how can we work with what they're already doing to maybe enrich that for our locals? And then in organization, strengthen community engagement with locals and residents. Remind them that we want them down there. Remind them that they, that they're going to get good prices. I know personally that most of the businesses downtown have to be competitive with the online market. So if you can get it online for $29, you can probably get it in Midtown for $32. Think about it. So the second transformation strategy is going to be a little bit more geared towards the tourism, which is ensure that the tourism commerce remains a centerpiece for Midtown economic development and the revitalization efforts. And in economic vitality, that's going to look like ensuring that the messaging and advertising spaces on the digital kiosk are promoting our messaging and the beautiful town and what do we have going on. Promotion, we're going to continue to partner with the Village of Ruidoso and support the area's events like we have been doing, Ride Ruidoso, the Oktoberfest, the farmers market, the small things that happen, that maybe a film that came to town and, needs some assistance. So we'll continue to work with those things that are going to, provide that down the road. When people see that film, they're going to want to come to Ruidoso. And we were there working.
So how are you going to let people know about it?
So we were thinking about, again, trying to get out there in front of the district this year. We had discussed with the board maybe taking on individual blocks as board members, creating committees to where those board members take that block on and kind of go and discuss those people, inform them what our mission is. When I was reviewing and I went and looked for that for our accreditation award that I had in my email, I realized that I skipped over a press release. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is something I needed to get out in front of the public. So just like you said.
Well, how are you gonna get it out in front of the public?
We're gonna try to hit all of the aspects. Hopefully we'll use, we're gonna use our platform on the Insider, we're gonna use our social media aspects, we're gonna try door-to-door and face-to-face interactions.
What I'm getting to is I was looking up your Facebook, there's hardly boo on there. There were 3 posts on Ruidoso and everything else is 2022. So who's supposed to be updating that?
I post a lot more regularly than that. Are you looking at the right page?
Yeah. That's what I just looked it up. Because I hear these all the time from people and I'm a regular complainer because I don't get notices, but I'm members to all these. It's Ruidoso Midtown Association, a nonprofit organization.
That's our page. I usually do 3 or 4 posts a week,
Because I
so.
look under all or posts, and this one, it's coming up, and all these are from 22, 20, 23, some from 15, which was before, and then I looked for others. So I don't know if I'm just doing it wrong, or I may need to hold my finger down and clap your heels together like they tell you to do on Facebook, and you get a new one. So I just haven't been able to navigate it, and that's what I'm saying. I take me as I'm fluent enough that I get stuff, but if I can't navigate it, I just wonder who we are reaching.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Can you get on it?
I'm seeing 5 posts since July 1st.
Yeah.
The latest one was 9 hours ago.
Thank you.
Okay, where was it at? What are you looking at?
Ruidoso Midtown Association.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I get notices,
And then the
King's
very
Live.
first one
Yeah,
was
so
9
do
hours
I,
ago, was a
yeah.
picture of a double rainbow over Midtown yesterday afternoon.
Huh. Well, how's mine different then?
Well, maybe you're running Facebook for old people.
It could be. Well, I see these
Are
photos.
you following it?
There's a Ruidoso Midtown that is what you just said, and then there's a Ruidoso Midtown Association. And that's the association with the you have to follow. That's the one I'm looking at right now.
See, here's the page. Yeah, you got the different page.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, the one that says Ruidoso Midtown Association.
Okay, go back up, hit follow.
Okay.
So if we can maybe find it and take it down, that's
Yeah, because I just went in to Facebook and hit Ruidoso Midtown Association. It popped up nonprofit organization, so I clicked it. And that's the one that and I just noticed that I don't get anything. So maybe I've been a member of the wrong one. But that's what I'm saying. We've got so much stuff that we need to clean up. And we're talking to our others about that too, that when we put out information,
How is everyone getting?
well, and then it's like, well, we're not posting it on our website because of this, or we're not putting it on Discover Ruidoso because but when you hook people, they're used to following, we need to get the information out, so. Yeah, but see, just like that, I just went to Facebook and hit, and I join all these things, but I don't get notices, and now it's because I'm on a dead one, I guess.
Okay.
Or I joined the wrong one, but it was there.
Yeah, you may want to look into it, because then there's Midtown, Ruidoso, New Mexico, mid-town Ruidoso. So there may be some other pages there, and maybe you can work with Facebook to
Yeah,
either
how do we clean
combine
that
them
up?
or eliminate them.
I'll reach out to Carrie at the agency because she is who we use our web services
She'd be
through
great,
anyways.
yeah.
And she really does, yeah, I'll express these concerns to her so that she can help me, like you said, clean this up.
Yeah, because I know that claiming this page, you get that all the time. And then if somebody started something else, but it didn't get finished, we're notorious around here for starting it, and then and then we start a new one. And so if we maybe just check and clean that up.
Yeah, and I feel like consistency is a key. That's why I do try to be consistent on those pages. So like we said, that hopefully even if I hadn't necessarily posted anything like directly, informing anyone about business, that you're just seeing an active page. And so I will try and work on that a little better. And so that is one of our strong points of communication.
Yeah, see, it's up, since I'm on the right one, it's up there. That's wild, because all those others had great pictures on it. They were real. But they were old.
Boy, that rainbow, that was really.
Oh, yeah, that was a double rainbow.
Wasn't that?
Yeah. My daughter's wedding,
Yeah.
right afterwards, they got one in hers, but it wasn't here.
I saw it, yeah. it was great.
Okay, sorry,
So-
go ahead.
No, thank you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for bringing that up too, because I did not realize that was a problem. I thought were running a really good page. So I'll look forward into making sure.
Well, I
that
mean, you
others
are
feel
running a
that
good
way.
Yeah,
page.
it
It's
is a
just
good
another,
page.
there's
You're doing a
another
good
one right
job
there.
I see.
Keeping it updated and everything there, because I know there's a lot of shares that
Sure.
go off of that as well.
We'll try and get that cleaned up, like we said. And then this is my last slide, and it's just showing you our 2023, 2024 Board of Directors. And then I don't have a good, beautiful picture of us. I have a picture that we took all together at Christmas, but I didn't want to go back all the way to a Christmas picture. So I just used a few pictures that I took of our board working at the Brudoso Festival. And so, the board listed there, and we don't have any chair changes this year, which I'm thrilled about because most of those people are falling into their chairs. So they're just either kind of gaining strength or traction and momentum in those chairs. We do the cabinet chairs are timed out, so they will run, Dakota and Frankie Lee only have 1 year left on their term. And then so next year we'll be looking at new board president and vice president, but
How long are the terms for?
3 years,
So the president for 3 years?
3 years.
It's not just a one-year deal?
Oh, wow.
3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, Dakota's on his third year right now. This will be his last year.
But Frankie Lee, does she go to board president then?
So she, yes, she has, if she chooses to.
Oh, okay.
If she chooses to, yeah,
Okay.
or if she accepts the nomination.
Oh,
if they-
okay.
And see, Frankie Lee has been on the board for so many years that she just renews her 1 year term every year. And I think we've got her to sign on for 2 more years just to structure our board. And so it's really up to Frankie Lee. She could term out if she'd like, but we would love for her to stay on. I hope she does. And so, but then again, at the same time, when some of those people do term out, it's kind of bittersweet because you get new, fresh, vibrant blood in, and some people come in eager for change and want to get out there and do it. So.
Sure.
A suggestion to consider is, and it would take a rewriting of your bylaws, but have your board president and vice president not term out at the same time.
Okay.
Have them alternate, like do maybe a 4-year term or a 2-year term. And in an even year, it's this one, and an odd year, it's this one. So that it's conceivable, the way you have it set up now, both of them could term out, leave,
Yeah.
and then you're lost.
Yeah.
Then you have all new leadership trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
But if you can kind of roll it, like what we do is we have our board president and our secretary, I believe, are in one term, and then our vice president and our treasurer are in another.
Okay.
So we've always got two going like this.
I agree.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like
That's,
we
4-year
do,
terms?
half the council is on 4 years, and then the other is the other half of the council.
Well, what's a term on your board?
4 years, I think, or 2
Really?
years? No, it's 2 years. So
It's a huge commitment
we have
for
even and
that.
odds.
is.
Yeah, we have 2 years. It's even and odds. So, but that's a suggestion.
no, it's a great suggestion, and it is achievable because I actually have already worried about that myself. Like
Mm-hmm.
because you do get those 4 or 5 people that are kind of heavy players, and then all of a sudden they've been there for a long time and they burn out. And Main Street has a burnout rate. It's 3 to 5 years that directors burn out, board chairs burn out, and things
Right.
like that. And so, but that was all I have for you guys.
Okay.
And so
Thank
I hope that you're sold on the value of our program and ready to approve us for another year.
I don't know that I can agree with approving you. You haven't done anything.
I'm trying.
No, you've done amazing in the last year. Oh, my God. I think back to, and I don't want to belittle anybody or whatever,
course not.
but.
Of course not.
But just the entire group and the new energy that's going on and ride that wave as long as you can. You guys have made huge strides and you continue to do it. I know there was talk years ago about trying to do membership. into the Midtown Association?
So, Main Street has completely done away with that model.
you can't do that?
They've pulled it out, yes. So even programs that were doing that, they've transitioned those programs.
Okay.
They really want us to be for the stakeholders. So,
You've made a huge difference.
thank you.
And I know you've got a great group of people, but I also know where the drive comes from, so.
Thank you.
How
Thank
do
you.
you
I
have
really
time
appreciate it.
for your shop?
I
She
just
sold it.
shut
Oh,
it down.
did you?
I just did a month ago. I
Oh,
just-
that's right, because
Everett Brophy's.
Everett
Everett went in
moved
there,
in it,
that's
yeah.
right, okay.
Yeah, that
Yeah, I
was
was
him.
trying to think, what was there before?
I might have been having a little bit of burnout with that. I realized all of a sudden I accidentally did the math and realized that I'd been there for 20 years.
Oh, geez.
Yep. And
Oh,
then I
when
was-
you worked for Deb?
Yeah, I've been there since 2004. So, yep, 20 years coming, 19 right now. So then all of a sudden I was like, I'm out of here.
You need a motion?
Yes, please.
I move that we accept, or that we adopt Resolution 2023-22, a resolution of financial support and funding commitment to Ruidoso Main Street Association for fiscal year 2023-2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
Yes.
guys.
Good
Thank you very
job,
much.
Kendra,
Thank you.
really,
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you, guys.
then we'll, the item number 4 is discussion and possible action on professional services agreement with the Ruidoso Midtown Association, RMA, to promote the Midtown District in the village of Ruidoso in the amount of $35,000.
Okay, so now you're asking for money, so this presentation has to be better than the last one. Mayor, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve professional services agreement with Ruidoso Midtown Association to promote the Midtown District in the village of Ruidoso in the amount of $35,000.
Second.
Got a motion second.
Okay? Yes, sir?
Comment discussion. Again, defining Midtown District is from Country Club to the intersection of Meacham and Sutterth.
No,
Where is it
False.
at?
It is,
sacred grounds or
Yep.
Hotel,
Downshift.
Hotel Ruidoso is not in Midtown and
Okay.
Comfort Inn is in Midtown.
Okay, so to Chase to Country Club.
No,
No?
what's the little road past the agency?
Pine, that's Pine.
Yes, Pine.
So to
That's
Pine
the
to
district,
there.
yes. And it jots down around the Art and goes all the way down Rio, all the way across the river. So all those houses are in the district, on the river. And then it, follows the district line. So Wingfield, the road is not in, the district, but then it circles around the park, and that is in the district.
and the rack.
The rack is.
And the rack area. Okay.
So, well, Westlake Optical is about that, and then on Past is not in the district, on the south side?
Say that again?
What was that?
Like optical?
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're in.
They are.
Okay.
Yep. It goes all the way past the agency, right there.
Yeah.
You know, right there with the blue building.
Pine,
Yeah,
yeah.
it doesn't include the blue building.
It does not.
No.
Oh,
No.
The other
That's
side
that
is
little road.
that little bitty cut through right there.
I think that's what the map looks like.
so I just wanted to clarify that, Mayor, because since we're changing the 4-lane from the light up to the circle to 2-lane, you're gonna get bombarded with, he's trying to change Midtown back to a 2-lane road.
Yeah,
So
oh boy.
that's why I want to definitely define where it's at and
That's what it
where.
looks like.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
'Cause-
we're not even talking about that area.
I know, that's the whole point of it there, because when I was in the village employed, phase 2 of, Main Street was from Chase up to the traffic light. That's how we got those sidewalks redone and all that lighting and stuff like that. But that was the first time around when we were part of Main Street.
Yeah, it's tough, if there was an extension, which way would we go? This one wants to be included, but these ones, because I
Right.
know Cornerstone Bakery has asked too, would it be possible to get the Midtown District extended down to us, so,
Right.
but
And our Wingfield house would be a nice anchor.
it really would, yeah, that would be really
So,
nice.
So, yeah, I just wanted to get a clear definition of what area we're calling the district.
Well, those changes are possible to be made. So we'll work forward in the years to come for those things.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
No
all.
problem, thank you.
All right, thanks, great job.
Yeah, but vote.
Roll call, please.
Counselor Coughlin,
Aye.
Counselor Jackson,
Aye.
Counselor Salas,
Aye.
Counselor Letterman,
Aye.
and Counselor Eby.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Kendra.
Next item is number 5, discussion and possible action on appropriation number 23-ZH9239, Village of Ruidoso for Junior Bill funds designated to contract for mentoring at risk youth experiencing homelessness at an overnight shelter in Ruidoso in the amount of $100,000. You heard this is overnight.
Yes, this is, we don't have to go out for RFP. It's been identified for High Mountain Youth project.
And this was where just the,
Go between.
what do you call it, the administrator?
Yes, with Mayor Crawford, members of the council. I did send an email to DFA just to clarify this, to make sure. I know on the other funding that we had listed on here, the county's going to be the fiscal agent on it, and that one would need to have an RFP. So we're still getting some clarification on this also. But
Okay,
this is the one for the High Mountain Youth.
Number 7.
They're sole
we need to
source.
remove.
Yeah.
When it comes to,
Yes.
when it says overnight shelter, there's nobody else that does that.
Yeah.
So,
That's a great project. I'm really happy that, yeah.
I just hope they can spend the money, because it's,
Can't do it on remodeling.
well, I know, it's
Programs.
programs, and
Right.
it's a short window, so they need to
Oh,
get on it. Yeah, no,
Yes, and that-
your bill is not,
okay.
when it was brought to our attention, they wanted to use it for the remodel and do some construction work. We said we can't do that.
Yeah.
so I have a question for you. I know that the bonds are sold, what, in August or something?
These are, Mayor Crawford, Counselor Coughlin, it's general fund money.
Oh, it's
So
general
they were
fund.
not, we did a bond, just a survey on it, just on a questionnaire, but it wasn't bond, it's not severance
Oh,
tax bonds.
It's general.
General
funds.
fund.
Okay, so they could start accruing expenses and get paid quickly.
Following the date that we do approve this, and then they sign it, the day that the director for Department of Finance Administration signs off on it, and then we're ready to go.
Okay, I would say the sooner we can do it, the better for them,
I've been-
because otherwise,
Proactively working with Dr. Alred, and he's entered in as a vendor, and so as soon as we get this, we can draw a contract and put those deadlines and timelines for reimbursement in there.
good. Because typically, I was used to it wasn't junior bill funding, Zach, where it was, you had to sell bonds? And then you really only had like 7-8 months to spend it? or
I don't know
something?
what he's
No?
talking about, do you?
It's like the facade grant that you're talking about. We had a short deadline because we got started late,
Right.
but no matter what, we have to
You
leave
don't
with the
remember?
facade.
You're not selling bonds on junior,
Yeah.
junior.
I thought that came through severance.
No.
You just plugged in the press and got it going, huh?
You need a,
Yes,
I move that we accept appropriation number 23-ZH9239, Village of Ruidoso for junior bill funds designated to contract for mentoring for at-risk youth experiencing homelessness at an overnight shelter in Ruidoso in the amount of $100,000.
Second?
any final discussion? Roll call, please, Pam.
Counselor Letterman.
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin,
Aye.
Counselor Jackson,
Aye.
Counselor Salas,
Aye.
Counselor Eby.
Aye. All right, thank you. Item number 6, discussion and possible action on 23-ZH9238, Junior Bill Agreement designated for Ruidoso to update the 911 emergency system rural addressing in the amount of $95,000, and this one came through our representative. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, so moved, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Second.
Second, we have a motion and a second.
I'm sorry, I didn't. Eby, Letterman, sorry.
Eby and then Letterman.
Thank you. Counselor Eby.
Aye?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman.
Aye.
Counselor Salas.
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin.
Aye.
Counselor Jackson.
Aye.
And this is where you talked earlier about the chamber hosting the legislative days up in there. This is a direct result of us as a contingent going up there and bringing this money into town. Because there's three on the agenda. The one was pulled, but then there's other junior bill money. I mean, that's almost $300,000 right here.
Yep. You're right. Item number 8, 7 was scratched. Discussion and possible action on agreement with Souter Miller and Associates through Cooperative Educational Services, CES, for professional engineering services on water system improvements in the Country Club subdivision in the amount of $271,182.01, including New Mexico GRT.
Mayor, Council, this is for the engineering services for the High Loop area, High Loop, Madera, Arabella, White Oaks, Wildwood, Lupine, all up in there that we've had those leaks, so.
Big time.
We never have leaks up there.
No. Now that Coughlin's gone, we'll get it fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's leaving, you're
Because I'm leaving, yeah.
So where did the money come from?
Geobonds.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions? It's high time.
When would this get going?
As soon as we sign the contract, we will give it to them and they'll get it started right away.
Engineering, and then we'll have to go out.
Engineering, but when do we anticipate replacing all this?
When we get the money.
In the spring,
Yeah, probably spring.
Where are you going to get the money for the replacement?
SGRT.
I believe we have enough in Geobond to get started. If not, we're going.
And this is after Pine Cliff?
Yes, Mayor Crawford, members of the council, we did receive a bid today on the Pine Cliff project.
Yeah.
We'll take it to the special meeting, but this will incorporate this with SGRT, GeoBond funds, and then it will, if we have, there's a Water Trust Board we want to look at also.
Yeah, they got money right now. The Water Trust Board does. So we're going after that.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve agreement with Souter Miller and Associates through Cooperative Educational Services, i.e. CES, for professional engineering services on water system improvements in the Country Club subdivision in an amount of $271,182.01, including New Mexico GRT.
Yes, second.
Any final discussion?
I'm glad you asked where this is, because I didn't even know I live in a country club subdivision. I thought it was Indian Hills, so that's what I've always heard.
That's in California.
Yeah.
I've always called it Indian Hills.
Indian Hills, yeah.
Roll call, please.
Counselor Jackson.
Aye.
Counselor Letterman.
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin.
Aye.
Counselor Salas.
Aye.
And Counselor Eby.
Aye. Awesome. Item number 9, discussion on possible action on award of RFP 2023-013P, Water Rights Attorney Services to Henninghaus and Olson and McCray LLP. Yes, ma'am?
Mayor and council, so we went out for an RFP. We did receive 3 proposals, and we ended up going with Henninghausen, Olson, and McCree. And we did advertise in 3 different newspapers as well.
And that's who we currently use, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because I recognize Koppler's name, but then that third one, I've never heard of before, but they scored, fairly close.
Except in the first part.
Well, the total, yeah.
Need a motion?
Mr.
Yes.
Mayor, move to award RFP 2023-01P, Water Rights Attorney Services to Henninghausen, Olson, and McCray LLP.
Second?
Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Jackson.
Aye.
Counselor Letterman.
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin.
Aye.
Counselor Salas.
Aye.
Counselor Eby.
Aye.
Awesome. Item number 10, discussion and possible action on change order number 3 with Roper Construction to increase the contract time from August the 3rd, 2023 to November 1, 2023 for completion of Alto 3, H1979 POD 5, and Alto 4, H1979 POD 6 well improvement project.
Mayor and council, this is just to increase our contract time with Roper Construction. The reason for this is material delay, so we're just trying to make sure all the material gets on site. The Roper Construction does believe that this is sufficient time to get all the material in.
And Mr. Mayor, I think it's important to note that there is no financial impact by this action. Therefore, I move to approve change order number 3 with Roper Construction to increase the contract time from August 3rd, 2023 to November 1st, 2023 for completion of Alto 3, H1979 Pod 5, and Alto 4, H1979 Pod 6 well improvements project.
Second,
Final discussion?
and I got a question, Ron, did we open up the trail over there, or at,
They're saying
Pod-
no.
no?
No, yeah, we're still having ongoing construction, and so it's unsafe for people to be walking back
Well, I
there.
thought because we're waiting on material and
So
stuff.
they're
they
finishing up the well work right now, and so Roper plans on starting up construction here shortly, like within the next probably 1 or 2 weeks, he wants to start up, and so if we opened up the trail, it'd only be for a week, so might as well just
Okay.
keep it shut
So
down.
is he,
I
okay.
get requests, or
Yeah, we-
quite a few people, they just like doing the whole loop. I said, just walk down there and turn around. They said, no, we want to go on the other side. And
Yeah.
says, go ahead, you know?
You might visit with Roper, Ryan Roper, just to see exactly what his schedule is, if it's a couple of weeks or whatever, and if they can accommodate that, just to see what we can do.
Okay.
I mean, I understand the safety of it and the need for that and stuff, but that's where I was, because there was no work going on there for a while, and that's where it just, Things
Yeah,
off
we were
around
having
the
some
well.
issues with the well driller, with the drill rig itself.
Right.
And so, once everything got fixed, they were able to, pretty much finish up, Alto 3 well. We're waiting to do a final pump installation, so they're waiting for that part to come in right now. And then they'll be done with the pump site, or with the well site itself, and then, Roper also plans on continuing, possibly before they even get the pump in. to
Okay.
Start construction.
okay.
Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Jackson,
Aye.
Counselor Salas,
All right,
Counselor Coughlin,
Aye.
Counselor Letterman,
Aye.
Counselor Eby.
Aye.
I think it's kind of weird how all the fish are in the back of the aquarium over there. All over in the corner.
You need to talk faster, you're not keeping up with Kendra.
No kidding. Number 11, discussion of possible action on task order with Riverbend Engineering, RFP 2022-002P-09 for design, permitting, and bidding, and construction phase services for location 25 at Two Rivers Park in the amount of $68,333.77, including New Mexico GRT.
Mayor and council, this is for hazard mitigation site 25. When the site was originally designed, they were looking at doing a grouted boulder grade control. And so Chris Phillips from Riverbend Engineering, we're wanting to do a task order with him to kind of make a more natural looking improvement to the stream that will help also protect the sewer line as well.
Okay. Any questions?
I move that we accept task order with Riverbend Engineering, RFP 2022-002P-09 for design, permitting, and bidding and construction phase services for location 25 at Two Rivers Park in the amount of $68,333.77, including New Mexico GRT.
Second.
Okay, final discussion. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Letterman.
Aye.
Counselor Eby.
Aye.
Counselor Salas.
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin.
Aye.
Counselor Jackson.
Aye.
Okay, very good, thank you. Item number 12,
Thanks.
discussion and possible action on ratification of Resolution 2023-19, authorizing and improving the submission of a completed application for financial assistance in the amount of $50,000 and project approval to the New Mexico Finance Authority.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. The item in front of you is for a planning grant that would extend or do research on the evaluation of the Meacham Corridor as a potential metropolitan redevelopment area. So basically extending that corridor. This would prepare a designation report, and if the council decides to designate that area, it would prepare the Metropolitan Redevelopment Plan, which would move that portion forward. The document would also include all of the components required for the MRA that would be necessary to move forward. This also allows us, if that designation occurs, to include properties that we already have that would be able to be developed under that MRA as well.
Help us on the 9% tax credit.
Right.
Okay,
Oh.
can I get a motion, please?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ratification of Resolution 2023-19, authorizing and approving the submission of a completed application for financial assistance in the amount of $50,000 and project approval to the New Mexico Finance Authority.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Jackson.
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin.
Aye.
Counselor Solis.
Aye.
Counselor Letterman.
Aye.
Counselor Eby.
Thanks, Michael.
Yes, thank you.
If I could get a motion to go into closed session, please.
Mr. Mayor, move that we move into closed session for discussion of limited personnel matters concerning statute 1015-1H2 NMSA 1978. Second, to discussion subject to the attorney-client privilege pertaining to threatened or pending litigation in which the Village of Ruidoso is or may become a participant, citing 1015-1H7 NMSA 1978. And finally, discussion of the purchase, acquisition, and/or disposal of real property and/or water rights by the Village of Ruidoso, citing 1015-1H8 NMSA 1978. Any action taken as a result of the closed session will be brought back into open session, and I so move.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Counselor Jackson.
Aye.
Counselor Letterman.
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin.
Aye.
Counselor Solis.
Aye.
And Counselor Eby.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We'll now move into closed session.
Mike and Judy first, and then I'll have Chief Manor and Judy
Bye.
Adios, adios.